City of Maplewood Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, November 17, 2020 is called to order. Roll call, please.
Fred Down present.
Lou Yang present.
Alan Ige present.
John Eads present.
Cheryl Sokolsky present.
Tushar Desai present. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Staff, is there any changes that are recommended for the agenda?
Chair and Commission, staff does not have any amendments to the agenda as presented.
Okay, any members who wish to add any agenda items that have not been listed here? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Ellen moves a second. Lou
Yep.
is second. All those in favor of approval of the agenda as presented, say aye.
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 Any nays? No nays. Okay, we'll go on to the next item, approval of the minutes. October 20, 2020 minutes were sent to everybody in the packet. Is there any changes that any members saw that are worthy of changing?
Everything looks good.
Okay, so is there a motion to,
I move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
okay, so Fred makes the motion. Who is the second?
Second, Lou.
Lou will second the motion. All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. One abstention. Cheryl wasn't here last
Oh,
time, so
Sorry
I
about
will.
that.
That's okay. You'll catch on as time goes on, so no problem. That's how
Sounds
it
good.
goes. Yep. Cheryl is an abstention. Okay. Next item on the agenda is public hearing. Number 1, 7 p.m. or later, Hosanna Karen Baptist Church, 1818 Jervis Court East, comprehensive plan amendment resolution and a conditional use permit resolution. Staff report, please.
Sure. Thank you, Chair and Commission. I'm going to bring up my screen here. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a few slides set up here to walk us through our discussion this evening. We've received an application from the Hosanna Karen Baptist Church. And they are proposing to purchase the existing building at 1818 Jarvis Court and convert the existing building into a church. You may remember this site from earlier this year when it was a part of a senior housing project. It actually included this parcel and the parcel directly to the east. And that project was approved in March, but is not moving forward at this time. So the property owner has found a new entity, the church that's before you tonight, that is seeking approval for their project. To move forward with the church project, they do need approval from the city for a comprehensive plan amendment and a conditional use permit. Again, the senior housing project that I just mentioned, when that was approved earlier this year, the city actually re-guided the property from employment. So if you can see on the map on your screen, the purple parcels along Highway 36 are currently guided employment, as were the two parcels that I'm hovering over here. The senior housing project re-guided those parcels to high density residential. And so for now, since that project is not moving forward and the church would like to move forward, this parcel needs to be re-guided to institutional, which is also consistent with other church properties in the city of Maplewood. As most of the commission, I'm sure, is aware, or the commission is aware, anytime you amend the city comprehensive plan, the Metropolitan Council does have a review aspect to it and needs to approve the amendment. Now, this would be considered a fairly minor amendment in terms of the Metropolitan Council's review, so we do not anticipate any issues from that side of things. Churches are allowed in any zoning district with a conditional use permit. So again, that's why we're with that request tonight. Churches must provide 1 parking space for every 4 seats in the main gathering area of the church. Since the packet went out, the applicant did submit a site plan showing the parking space layout with additional spaces being added to the northeast side of the site. You can see where I'm circling with the mouse here. That's where they're looking to add a few more spaces, and again, showing where the rest of the parking would occur on the site. The applicant also submitted a floor plan on the gathering space that would be inside. I should take a step back. The building itself is currently the Saints North roller rink. So that's been a long-term use in the city of Maplewood, is an indoor recreation center. So they would be converting that recreation roller rink into then this church space. So for those who have been inside the building, you know, it's already a fairly large, wide open space, and they would be taking advantage of that to, again, create their sanctuary area. So this gives you a general guide of how that space would be laid out. The key takeaway for our review tonight is that the floor plan and the parking plans that have been submitted for a review and we're taking a look at tonight will need to be reviewed and approved by the building official and the fire marshal in terms of occupancy. The staff report does refer to that element as a condition of approval. So because the church is a different occupancy than the rec center is today, they will need to go through that full review with the building and fire departments to ensure everything's in place as they change that occupancy. So there will be, after the planning commission, and if the city council decides to approve these requests, there will still be additional review by city staff to make sure everything internal to the building is up to code and in compliance for this type of occupancy. The last point here on this slide, there is no trash or recycling enclosures on this site, and that is a requirement of city code that all trash and recycling receptacles be either screened or enclosed. So the applicant will need to address that aspect before they gain occupancy of the building. The final slide here, bigger picture, because there is no actual exterior construction as related to this project. There is no planning or engineering concerns with this request, though any future design changes to the building or the site must be reviewed by the city. The city did send out a neighborhood survey to the 500 property owner, or I'm sorry, to the property owners within 500 feet. That includes the 14 property owners that are within that radius. And we did receive 2 responses that were laid out in your staff report. They were positive responses that the city received. And so with that, staff is recommending approval of both the comprehensive plan amendment and the conditional use permit resolutions that are before you tonight. The applicant is present and can answer any questions from the commission, as can staff. So I'll hand it back to you, Mr. Chair.
All right, so I'm gonna just ask the planning commission members if you have any questions that you would like to pose at this time before I open it up for the public hearing.
My question for staff is, why do we have to redirect this if churches are allowed with a conditional use permit in any zoning?
Sure. So Chair and Commission, that's the dividing factor between land use and zoning. So it can happen in any zoning district. So the zoning doesn't necessarily need to be addressed or amended, but the land use plan does. And so we've in the 2040 comprehensive plan, we have said that churches should be in the institutional zoning district. And just as an effort to keep our land use plan up to date and accurate, that's why we are recommending that the land use plan be amended to reflect this change.
Okay.
Anyone else has any questions regarding this proposal?
You were talking about the adjustments to the parking and the space and all that stuff. I don't see anything. I just see the parking allocations. What about the lighting of the parking?
Chair and Commission, did you say the lighting of the parking?
Yes, yes.
So the applicants can speak more directly, but at this point, they have not proposed any changes to the existing physical condition to the site. So no lighting changes have been proposed. And there is no requirement from the city to provide lighting. It's just what we regulate is the amount of light.
Yeah, the amount of lights, yeah.
So at this point, they're not proposing any changes to the existing conditions, Chair and Commission.
So those lighting that is existing today is meeting the city's requirements.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So-
that is as per the number of parking currently there. They're going to be adding additional parkings. That's what I'm saying.
Sure, Chair and Commission. So let me clarify that when they say they're adding parking spaces, they're adding paint to existing pavement.
Oh,
So the existing asphalt footprint essentially is not changing,
okay.
but they have a large part of the site that is asphalt but is not marked for anything, and so they're making it formal parking spaces, but they will not be laying down additional asphalt as part of this project.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Any other planning commission members have any questions that they would like to raise?
I did have, just kind of on the theme of parking spots, I did have one question. Based on the number of spots they are adding, it appeared that would be to the current membership amount. And so I was trying to understand if there is a sense of what membership would look like going forward, and if that might require additional consideration for parking.
Sure, Chair and Commission, great question. Yeah, there is a nexus between parking and building occupancy and what they've said their existing congregation size is. I think the applicant would be well positioned to talk about their plans for this site and how they see growth occurring. But no, from the city side of things, we would regulate their building occupancy would be limited both to, I mean, there's a physical limitation to the building, right? Like you can only put so many people in based on occupancy codes, and obviously, and then the parking as well. You can only fit so much parking on this site, and that's also going to have a limiting factor. So that's from the city's regulation side, but the applicant can better speak to their operational and their plans for this site.
Yes, so is there any other questions before I open it up and invite the applicant to come up and speak? So since there are no questions from the members, the public hearing is now open. If the applicant would like to speak to this request, before you start, if you could please give your name and address so that we can record it for the meeting, please.
I'm Ron Hansen, and I am a licensed real estate agent in Minnesota, and I am representing the Hosanna Korean Baptist Church in the purchase of the property at 1818 Jarvis Court. And just a couple of things I'd like to point out before I introduce Latu, and that is that the seller of the property has been very, how should I say, gracious in the fact that they're going to add the necessary parking stripes. And there currently is, I believe, 108 parking spots marked, and they're going to add 10 more, which will bring it. Currently, the city is going to require they have to have 113 or 110 spaces, if I'm correct. Anyway, so they're going to add 10 more. We'll bring it up to 128. And then as we move on, or the church moves on, whatever more parking is going to be needed, there's plenty of area there to add more spots. And the the inside of the, as Mr. Martin showed you, we had sent in a site plan of the inside of the building, which according to the square footage that's involved, will accommodate at least 500. Their current membership is 450. And the way we laid it out, there will be like 20 rows of 20 chairs will be with a walkway in between them. And there'll be about, I believe it's 25 rows of 20 chairs. It's about 500. And there's going to be an altar area. And then there's the concession area, which they probably will use for fellowship and so on. But anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Latu, who is the chairman of the church, and I'll let him speak to any questions you may have. Thank you. Latu?
Hi, my name is Latu. I'm the chairperson of the Hosanna Baptist Church. Right now, we are looking for the building for for worship. And now we are working closely with Ron Henson. So he's an agent. So this is the first time we start looking for. We were looking for the church for a long time already, but we didn't see the building like huge parquet or huge sanctuary like that. So right now we are working with our agent Ron Henson. And any plan, anything that we can talk about, we talk with him, and he's the representative of the current Hosanna Baptist Church too. So we're working together. Now I'm going to hand over to Etal.
Yeah, my name is Etal. Good evening. I'm a vice chair of the church. We both working together, and I think we got the answer from above. We've been praying for 3 years to get our building. So this is a perfect building by the highway, and not the neighbor. It's not like a resident building. So I think this is a perfect place for us to go there to worship. And we have to remodel things inside, and then we have to make it look like a church. This is what we are very excited to, and our members are happy. The price is right, and the location is right, and this building is located in the heart of the community. The community is just in the the area. So I think this is the perfect place. If the county approve, if the city approve to turn this building to the religion building. Actually, this building has been there publicly a long time. I had to bring my children to do the skate or whatever thing there many times. So I think this building is familiar to the community already. So I request that the city will approve this building to become our very Hosanna Baptist Church. Yes, thank you.
So do you have, did you say you have 450 members today?
Yes, we have 450 members. But at this time, at the pandemic time where we are renting, we just go to the that we stay worship gathering. We follow the rule and the regulation very, very. People have temperature test and everything. Yes, we follow everything. And when I say 450, maybe the church, the church, maybe just weekly, it will be just about 200 or 300 coming to the church, sir.
Okay, so Michael, maybe you can answer this question. They are saying that they have a current membership of 450 and possibly wanting to grow to maybe 500. Has that building been classified for max capacity yet, or that is yet to be identified?
Chair and Commission, that's correct. And that's so I can't speak to what the applicant's done as far as like if they've had an architect rate the building for them. that would be highly recommended from us to do that. But that's something that we will do because they will have to apply for an occupancy permit among any other building permits that they would need to pull anyway to convert the interior space. And that's when we'll do the analysis to set an occupancy. So we honestly don't focus so much on what their membership is. It's a nice piece of information for them to provide so we get a sense of scale. But at the end of the day, they're going to be given a number of what can be their max occupancy. And if they want to utilize that, then they have to have the parking as well to match. So those are steps that we will take after this public process once they get into our permitting process. And that becomes a very kind of black and white issue. There will be a number, and that will be the absolute.
Because I'm just kind of a little concerned about the fact that they may have a projection of going to 500, but if the city decides that you cannot put more than 350, for example, and I'm just using an arbitrary number as an example, they need to kind of understand upfront the chance that they're taking into asking for this building in case the occupancy rate does not match even their current capacity of members that they have. So that's the part that I was trying to find out, that do they know that, and do they understand what the ramifications would be once they go forward with this?
Sure. And Chair and Commission, that's a couple things that we've put into the conditional use permit, like the no parking on the public streets or on neighboring properties. So again, confining the use to the site, and we can only advise them to a certain level, but I sure hope that at some point they've done some kind of analysis on what they would need to do to that building, because I'm not sure, are there, this is what they'll work with their building department, like exiting. Are there enough exits? Does the building, is it sprinkled? Does it need to be sprinkled? If it's not sprinkled, I'm guessing it will have to be. And those kind of things. So those are the things that they'll be given a punch list from our building and fire department saying, you need to do these things to be able to be granted occupancy. But that occurs after this. This is the first step. The public process of the comprehensive plan and the CUP are those first steps, and then they would get in to those nitty-gritty details. They'll be able to use the building to a certain extent. Now, I again would hope that they've worked with design professionals to have an understanding, does it actually fit their need long-term? And that's if we'll come together with them and find that out with our folks too.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to bring up that we've been in very contact with the sellers, and a lot of the information that Mr. Martin is talking about as far as occupancy and number of exits and that type of thing. The building currently has an occupancy rate of 784. There are on the west side, I believe there are 4 exit doors. And basically, the property can be used as it exists. I think based on what they've told us, we're going by the seller now. And the seller has been very receptive to, there were some things that need to be fixed. And initially, they thought the building was going to be torn out. So they let minimum maintenance things go, but they've already taken care of that. They've already, I think he's already striped the parking lot. They've already patched the holes. And my folks are aware that they're going to have to put in some sort of a container for the trash area in the back. And then, as I said, the sellers have been very, very supportive and very helpful. And a lot of little maintenance areas are things that were to be taken care of, they've already done. And for example, some of the downspouts coming off the roof, some of the end of them were sort of rusted off and needed repair, and they've already done that. So we're pretty amazed at the things that we asked them to do, they've already done. So anyway, if there's any other questions we can answer.
And Chair and Commission, I'll just quickly add, as with any land use project that you see, it does get reviewed by every department in the city. And with that said, no red flags were issued from our planning or fire departments. It's a big building. There's no doubt about that. And so if there is a change of occupancy, they do have to meet existing standards. So I'm not the person to talk to about exiting. I just know that that's a thing. And so they'll look at all those fine points and everything will be buttoned up before any permits are issued. Mr. Chair, I will say we do have one caller that at least is unidentified to me that could be potential for the public hearing.
Okay. If the members don't have any more questions for Mr. Hanson and Atu, then we can go to the telephone call.
So yes, Mr. Chair, if your phone number ends in 7805 and you're here to speak during the public hearing on this item, you can unmute yourself and address the commission. So again, and you unmute yourself by pressing *6. So again, if your phone number ends in 7805.
No questions, thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening in.
Okay, so we don't have any outside parties that wishes to talk. Members, your pleasure. Do you have any other further questions regarding this subject matter before I close the public hearing?
Yes, my only concern is that, just like you said, Mr. Chair, that Mr. Hanson should realize that in terms of compliance, anything can change so that they are not led, to believe that, the building is massive and other stuff. There are certain code compliance that might be applicable after now, and is going to be listed by the staff or by the, by the city, so that they just don't get caught up based on what the seller is trying to or telling them. So this is to protect everybody.
Exactly. Okay, anybody else? If not, I am closing the public hearing for this subject. Any further questions from the members of the commission? Any comments from anybody in the commission, members?
I think it looks like a nice project. They would.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, is there a motion for this request?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, Al is making a motion.
Make a motion to approve a resolution for a comprehensive plan amendment regarding 1818 Garvis Court East from high density residential to institutional. And approval of this resolution requires four council votes. And then the other one is the motion to approve a resolution for a conditional use permit for a church to be located at 1818 Garvis Court East.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Fred has seconded. All those in favor of approving the motion as presented, aye.
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 Is there a no? All ayes. Motion has passed. Just for you, for your knowledge, Mr. Henson and Atu, that this request is not a complete approval for the project. It will go to the city council, and you folks will have to get approvals from the city council before it goes any further. Mr. Martin, when is it going to the city council?
Chair and Commission, we are scheduled for December 14th.
Okay, so you know that, and I'm sure the city will let you folks know about it. Okay. All right. Thanks for your presence, guys. All right. We will move forward with item number F, which is new business. Mr. Martin, if you'd like to introduce the new member to the commission.
Yeah, Chair and Commission. So the City Council recently conducted interviews. We had a handful of vacancies amongst the city's commissions. And Cheryl Sukowski, I'm sorry if I said your last name incorrect, when you have a chance to correct me here, was appointed by the city council to serve on the planning commission. So this is Cheryl's first meeting, obviously, with the planning commission, and we just wanted to afford her an opportunity to introduce herself to the rest of the group. We have met separately where we were able to talk about some kind of introductory items to the planning commission, documents that the group has been working on, and bigger projects so she can hit the ground running. So again, this is meant to be fairly informal and just afford everyone an opportunity to meet our new commissioner tonight. So with that, maybe Cheryl, you could provide a bit of introduction to yourself and how you ended up on the planning commission.
Of course. Thank you, Michael. And yes, Sokolsky, you got it right. So good to go there. Thank you everyone for having me join tonight. Excited to be a part of it. As Michael mentioned, Cheryl Sokolsky. I live in the Coleman Lake neighborhood in Maplewood. I've lived there since January of 2019. It was actually my first home purchase ever, and was excited to be able to settle in Maplewood. And when the opportunity came about to be a part of the community, and I saw the opening within the Planning Commission, that's something that kind of caught my eye. While I work, I currently work at Target and in food and beverage and supply chain. I don't necessarily have professional experience in this space. So I'm excited to learn more and be a part of shaping what the community looks like going forward. Let's see, I live, like I said, in Coleman Lake with my 3-year-old golden retriever, Matilda, and that kind of sums up kind of who I am at the highest level. So thank you again, and excited to be a part of this commission.
Welcome.
Very good.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
It's been a long time since we've been looking to add a member to the commission. So very nice to see you. We don't need any experience, just being able to understand documents and be able to ask questions and follow the guidelines. And Mr.
Yeah.
Martin is always there to help us out.
110%.
Huh?
Say 110%.
There we go. All right. Next item is unfinished business. We have no unfinished business today. There are no visitors to make any presentations. No commission presentations. Mr. Martin, from that meeting, from our last meeting, was that passed by the city council or not, the request?
Sure. So, Chair and Commission, I believe we're talking about 821 Bartlemy Lane, which was the home occupation and conditional use permit.
Correct.
The applicant actually asked the city to not go to the November 9th meeting as he was considering withdrawing his application. He ended up not withdrawing, so it will go to the city council this coming Monday on the 23rd. So we will report back at our next meeting on the findings or the decision that the council ends up making. So still to come.
Sounds good. Anything else on staff presentations for today?
The only thing I will add, and I know I sent out emails, is the meeting formats. I know I had asked the group kind of what your leanings were in terms of sticking with 100% Zoom or having the hybrid option. I know the city manager's office, I believe, also sent communications and a survey. So you're being asked lots of times by people on your feelings. So right now, officially, the city council is meeting in a hybrid style. We did not go that way this month just because the wheels were already in motion. We will consider where that December meeting lands. Again, I know with the rising case count, I know the city is even reconsidering how council meetings will progress over the winter, at least initially. So just stay tuned. We'll for sure have this format to meet, but if there's an in-person option where people would like to elect that, we'll see how we can accommodate that. The next meeting is December 15th, and so we'll just stick with me. So not a lot of information of concrete standpoint, but we're taking it day by day to figure out how to best approach it.
Was there a tally on the survey as to how the members are leaning and what other commissions are doing?
Sure. So no other commission has gone to the hybrid format yet. Everyone's been meeting still Zoom. I didn't see the exact count yet, but what I was told is that most people preferred to stay in the Zoom format. Now that still wouldn't prevent the people that want to meet in person from doing so in the hybrid situation, but there's considerations of also staff and how that works, with even liaisons like myself and the people that work on the TV broadcast side, and just making sure all those functions are able to keep continuing safely and where everyone feels comfortable. So there's lots of moving parts. And I think what we've learned with this group that I always feel comfortable with is I think we've had a pretty productive year. So I know at the end of the day that we're going to have a way to meet effectively and move along items, whether it's the Zoom format or in person or in between. So I'm not worried yet about anything, but we'll just see where it goes.
Sounds good. Well, safety is first in today's day and time. So that's what we'll look forward to. If there are no other items on this meeting, I will adjourn the Planning Commission meeting at 7:37 p.m.